Welcome to Leverage. Much of what you will see and hear today, or even listen to, will be presented through a fictional story. The story itself is fictional, but the challenges are very real. You might even recognize parts of yourself, someone you know, or a situation that you've even experienced. Throughout the story, I'll return periodically, much like a television host, guiding you through important moments. I'll pause periodically to examine the decisions being made, the resources that are already available, and the leverage that may be hidden inside an ordinary situation. I'll also ask you several questions as the story unfolds. You don't have to answer every single question. Choose only the question that speaks most directly to you and share your answer in the comments. So, before we begin, tell me where you're watching or listening from. You may discover that someone living in another city, another state, or another country is facing a challenge very similar to your own. Today's story is about a woman named Tasha. As you watch, pay close attention and listen carefully, not only to what happens to Tasha, but to what she does with what she already has. I'm Dr. Priscilla. Let's begin.
It all started on a gray Thursday morning. Rain tapped against the windows like a warning, but she didn't hear it. She was too busy balancing a crying infant in one arm and a burnt piece of toast in the other. Her name was Tasha, and for the past 5 years, she'd been someone's wife, someone's supporter, someone's background. She wasn't always invisible. Back in college, she was the firebrand who led rallies, who built ideas into action, who made people believe in things. But marriage had a way of dulling her shine. Not because she wasn't trying, but because Damon, her husband, needed to be the only sun in their sky. Damon had charm, the kind that filled a room and emptied a person, the kind that drew people in but left no room for anyone else to bloom. In the beginning, it felt like protection. Later, it felt like a prison. That morning, Tasha poured her last few dollars into the baby's formula. She was still recovering from childbirth, sore, exhausted, and uncertain. Damon walked in, suited and impatient. "Where are my keys?" he barked. "They're on the table," she replied, bouncing baby Amari gently. He found them and then paused by the door. "Look at you," he scoffed, scanning her wrinkled t-shirt and puffy eyes. "You used to be somebody." She flinched. Then he dropped the hammer. "Nobody's gonna want you now. A broke woman with a baby? Your baggage, Tasha. I'm not dragging you around anymore." Before she could respond, before she could even cry out, he was gone. That was it. No long speech. No explanation. Just the cold slam of the door and the echo of every insult he'd ever whispered into her soft places. Tasha stood in the silence, baby in her arms, unsure what part of her had shattered most. Her pride, her heart, or that small flicker of belief that he might change. For weeks, she didn't move much. She went through the motions, diapers, bottles, one-pot meals. The apartment felt smaller, the nights longer, the world colder. But then something strange happened. The silence began to feel like space. And in that space, something started to grow. One night, after Amari finally went to sleep, she opened her old laptop. It wheezed and clicked like a relic from another life. She stared at the blinking cursor for what felt like hours. Then she typed 3 words: virtual assistant jobs. She had always been organized, always good with words. She used to proofread Damon's presentations and schedule his meetings, even when he acted like he did it all himself. Now she was going to use those same skills for herself. The first gig paid $50. Not much, but it felt like winning the lottery. She bought groceries with that money, real ones. Then came another gig, then another. She worked during naps, during feedings, during quiet spells when the baby drifted off on her chest. Sleep became a stranger, but pride became a companion. Tasha didn't just work, she grew. She studied, certified herself, took calls in whispered tones, and built a client list. One of her clients, a life coach named Sandra, noticed her tone. "You have a real presence," Sandra said. "Ever thought about doing client work full-time?"
Let's pause and look at where Tasha is right now. Nothing outside of her has changed yet. She still has limited resources, which means she has very little money. She has a baby to care for. She is still living with the consequences of another person's decision. But something inside of her has started to change. The silence that she first felt when she felt empty at the beginning, and now she's feeling like she's got space. That's what leverage is. Sometimes leverage begins when we have a solution. It begins when we start asking a different question. Instead of only asking, "What did this happen?" or "Why did this happen?" we begin asking, "What can I do from where I am?" Can you imagine how you might have responded to this situation? Would you have just focused on the moment? Would you perhaps focus on the immediate financial problems that might present itself? Would you have reached out to someone for help? Or would you have felt too overwhelmed to do anything at all? There's no need to pretend that these decisions are easy, because they're not. But it is often at this point that we must decide whether we will remain focused only on what happened or begin looking for what is still available to us. Share in the comments if you are comfortable with where you are. What would have been your first concern in Tasha's situation? Now, let's see what she does next.
Tasha laughed at first, but something inside her clicked. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was rebuilding. 3 months later, Sandra referred her to a corporate training firm that needed an executive assistant. The salary made her eyes water. And the interview? It was remote, professional, and somehow peaceful. They offered her the job before the video call even ended. She was back. Not to who she had been, but to someone sharper, stronger. She bought new clothes. Not flashy, just fitted. She moved out of the old apartment into a cozier space with sunlight in the morning and a park nearby for Amari. She even bought a stroller that turned heads, sleek, black, and fast. And then it happened. Sandra invited her to come into the office just once for a team photo and training day. "You're part of the executive family now," she said. Tasha hesitated, but something in her whispered, "Go." The day she walked into that glass building, sunlight bouncing off the marble floors, she didn't know what was waiting on the other side of the elevator door. She stepped off the lift, smiled at the receptionist, and headed to the security desk to sign in. Then she froze. Behind the desk, polishing nameplates and refilling lanyards, stood Damon. Same pressed shirt, same smug expression. But this time, he didn't look like a sun. He looked like a flickering bulb. He didn't see her yet, but he would. And when he did, she would not shrink. She would not stammer. She would not cry. She would walk right past him like the ghost of everything he lost. Damon's head was down, focused on aligning badges in a tray. Tasha had already signed in with the building's app on her phone. The front desk was a formality now, an obstacle she didn't need to acknowledge. But fate, or something more poetic, had different plans. She stepped forward, heels clicking on the polished floor. The sound echoed louder than she expected, loud enough for him to look up. Their eyes met. He blinked like someone waking from a dream. For a second, he didn't move. Then his jaw slackened. "Tasha?" he muttered, voice caught somewhere between disbelief and discomfort. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her eyes said it all. The woman standing in front of him wasn't the same one he left behind in a cluttered apartment with no food and a crying baby. This woman was composed, powerful, silent in the kind of way that makes people nervous. Before he could speak again, Sandra appeared behind her. "There you are," she said, wrapping Tasha in a warm hug. "Come meet the rest of the team." She turned to Damon with a casual nod. "Oh, this is Tasha. She's the new executive assistant to the VP."
Are you starting to recognize things in Tasha that she may not even be aware of? Let's talk about it. We know that Tasha has certain skills, and this is where leverage comes in. Tasha did not begin with an entirely new set of skills. She recognized abilities she had when she was helping her husband. She knew how to organize, she knew how to proofread, she knew how to schedule, she knew how to communicate, and more importantly, she knew the value in helping another person complete important work. While she was using those abilities in the background, she may not truly have recognized their value. But when she began using those same skills for herself, they became a source of income. Her first job paid only $50. That amount did not solve every problem in her life, but it proved something to her. It provided evidence, and that was important evidence. Something someone was willing to pay her for, something she already knew how to do. Sometimes the first purpose of a small opportunity is not to make us wealthy. Sometimes it is to prove that something is possible. That's what leverage is. Leverage is recognizing what is already available and learning how to use it differently. Now, I've got a question for you. What ability are you already using that you may not recognize as valuable? Perhaps you know how to organize. Perhaps you can teach. Perhaps you listen well. Perhaps you solve problems. Maybe you even care for people. Maybe you can write, plan, encourage, repair. Maybe you can do some of those DIYs or manage. Can you cook? Can you build something? Or perhaps you're good at explaining. Whatever it is, if you care to share, let us know in the chat what it is that you already know how to do. Now, let's continue with Tasha's story.
Damon's face barely hid the punch of that title. Executive, assistant, to the vice president. She didn't even glance back. The office was modern, full of glass walls, tasteful art, and quiet conversation. As they walked through the corridor, people greeted her warmly. A young man even opened a door and called her ma'am. Funny, she thought. 6 months ago, she couldn't get anyone to answer an email. Now she was being escorted to a corner conference room with a view of the skyline. Sandra handed her a latte. "Almond milk, right?" Tasha smiled. "Yes, thank you." They sat for a team introduction, and as names were exchanged and jokes passed around, she allowed herself a moment to breathe. It was the first time in a long while she had been in a room where no one underestimated her. About 30 minutes later, a knock at the glass wall startled her. Damon stood outside, holding a package. Sandra rose to answer it. Damon spoke softly, too softly for the group to hear, but his eyes kept darting toward Tasha. Sandra returned with the envelope and a raised eyebrow. "Someone from downstairs wanted to make sure this reached you personally." Tasha opened it. Inside was a simple note. "Can we talk? Damon." She folded it in half without a word. Later, when the lunch break came, she stepped outside to a quiet bench by a fountain. She knew he would follow. And he did. He approached slowly, awkwardly, like a child asking for something he doesn't deserve. He started, standing in front of her. "I wasn't expecting you." She looked up, expression unreadable. "I mean, you look different." "I am different," she said, voice calm. He sat beside her without invitation. "I was wrong," he admitted. "I thought you were stuck. I thought you'd be waiting for me to come back. But you did all this without me." She turned to face him now, her voice sharp but measured. "You told me I was baggage, that no one would want me, because I had a baby. You walked out like I was something to throw away. What did you think I was going to do?" Curl up and disappear? He looked down. I didn't know what I was doing. I was scared. No, she said firmly. You were selfish. Silence stretched between them. Finally, he asked, Can we try again? For Amari? Tasha blinked slowly, the name of their child suddenly feeling like a shield he was trying to use. Don't say his name like it gives you rights. You haven't even called. I didn't know how to. She stood up. You knew how to leave. He stood too, desperation slipping into his tone. I miss you. She paused. Then maybe you should learn to miss people without trying to own them. She turned and walked away, her head high, her heart steady.
Tasha's leverage was not found only in the job she obtained. It was found in the boundaries she was willing to establish. A new opportunity can change our circumstances, but we must still decide whether we are willing to return to the relationships, environments, habits, and ways of thinking that helped us to stay stuck. Tasha did not use her success simply to prove something to her husband. She recognized that moving forward also required her to stop returning to what had diminished her. Sometimes leverage means saying yes to a new opportunity. Sometimes leverage means saying yes to a new life. Sometimes leverage means saying no to an old pattern. Think for a moment. Can you imagine how you might have handled this moment? Would the familiarity of the relationship make you question your progress? Think for a moment. Would you have felt pressure to return because of the child? Or would you have recognized that an apology does not automatically correct a pattern or behavior? Now, I'm not asking you to judge Tasha's decision. I am asking you to think about how difficult it can be to protect a change after it begins. Now, here's a question I would like for you to consider. Have you ever received a new opportunity but felt tempted to return to an old habit? Have you decided that the relationship is worth giving up what you have gained? Have you ever received an opportunity in an environment that would change a lot that is happening or could happen in your life or your way of thinking? If so, what made it difficult to keep moving forward? Share only what you are comfortable with in the comment section. What you share may help someone else in this community. Okay, now let's see what Tasha eventually does with everything she has learned.
The weeks that followed Tasha's first day in the office were smooth, steady, and nothing short of transformative. Each morning, she walked into the building with purpose, the weight of her past slowly shedding like old skin. Her confidence didn't arrive all at once. It crept in quietly, like dawn through a window, until one day she didn't recognize the woman she had been before. She was now someone people listened to, valued, sought out. Sandra often pulled her into meetings she didn't have to attend, not just for assistance, but for her insight. What do you think, Tasha? Became a question she heard often. It startled her at first. Then, she began to respond without hesitation. Amari, her son, blossomed too. He was growing fast, all wide eyes and gummy smiles. Her evenings with him were sacred. Long baths, little books, lullabies she never thought she'd have the strength to sing. She no longer survived. She lived. Damon didn't disappear completely. He lingered around the lobby, sometimes glancing toward the elevators, sometimes walking slower when she passed. But he never tried to speak to her again. Maybe he got the message. One afternoon, Tasha got a call from HR. There was a mentorship opportunity for junior staff. Would she be interested in leading a small group of interns and new hires? She hesitated, then smiled. I'd love that. The first session was set in a cozy conference room on the top floor. 10 fresh faces looked at her with a mix of nerves and excitement. She told them about her journey. Not the heartbreak, not Damon, but the grind. The learning. The nights she worked by lamplight with a baby on her lap. One young woman raised her hand. How did you stay motivated? When things were at their worst? Tasha paused. I stopped waiting for someone to save me. I realized I was the hero I'd been looking for. After the session, several interns thanked her privately. One even said, "You made me feel like it's okay to start over." And that was the moment it all made sense. She hadn't gone through that storm just to rebuild her life. She had gone through it so she could reach back and help others find their way out.
Tasha's story is fictional, but the decisions represented in this story are very real. She recognized skills she already possessed. She accepted a small beginning. She continued learning. She built trust. She benefited from a relationship and a referral. Eventually, she leveraged that experience to help someone else. But I want to talk about the difference between being inspired and experiencing lasting change. Over the years, I have personally invested thousands of dollars in high-ticket programs. I entered many of those experiences with great expectations. I expected clarity. I expected new directions. I expected greater discipline. And in some cases, I expected the experience itself to produce a noticeable transformation in my life. I listened to powerful speakers. I took notes. I became excited about the new possibilities. I sometimes returned home feeling as though something important was about to change. But I eventually realized that the price of the ticket did not guarantee transformation. The program could give me access to information. It could temporarily place me in an inspiring environment. It could introduce me to new ideas. It could allow me to see what someone else had accomplished. But the program could not make my decisions for me. It could not change my daily habits. It could not complete the work after I returned home. It could not guarantee that I would apply what I had learned. Lasting change began when I made changes. I had to take something from the experience and use it. That is how I began to leverage what I had learned. Inspiration only becomes leverage when it is used to make a decision, change a habit, develop a skill, or establish a boundary, or take an action. Think about Tasha's life. Her life did not change simply because she became inspired. She opened her laptop. She searched for work. She accepted small opportunities. She continued learning. She allowed her work to be seen. And when the larger opportunity appeared, she was prepared to respond. Knowing what to do is not enough. Many times we already know something about what we could do. We may know that we need to make a call. We may know that we need to complete a project. We may know that we need to ask for help. We may even know that we need to change a habit. We may know that we need to stop postponing a decision. But knowing and doing are not the same thing. So here's my final question for you. Did this story inspire you? What are you willing to put into place so that something you want to change can change? Not everything, just one decision, one action, one habit, one conversation, or one small beginning. You may share your answer in the comments or just write it down for yourself. But do not allow the lesson to disappear when the video ends. The next video is called Knowing What to Do is Not Enough. In that video, Knowing What to Do is Not Enough, we will look at concrete steps that you can actually take to move from inspiration to action. Because here on Leverage, we will not stop with the story. We will identify the lesson. We will find the leverage. And then we will decide how to use it. I want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Leverage and join me in the next video.